The level of assistance that's getting in is not sufficient. It needs to go up, and we've made that clear to the government of Israel. The level of fuel that is going in is not sufficient. It needs to go up, and we have made that clear to the government of Israel.
The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is worsening. Tonight, the UN warns an even more hellish scenario is about to unfold as Israeli forces are pushing deeper into southern Gaza. My colleague Richard Engel has more, and we want to warn you, these images are disturbing.
These images are from Deir al-Balah in central Gaza today. Lana Abu Safi was injured by an Israeli strike and carried into a hospital by her uncle. I want my mom. I miss her, she cries. She's 6 years old. Gazans are escaping Israel's expanding ground offensive against Hamas by heading further south. Rafah, at the southernmost point of Gaza on the Egyptian border, is the end of the line. The town is now so overcrowded, families live on the curbs. Gazans say they feel abandoned, that their lives don't count. A man notices our camera filming and says, "Don't bother, nobody cares." Zakaria Kadum just saw his niece's body under what's left of his family home. Zakaria returned to dig under the house hit this weekend to look for his relatives. My love, he says. His mother, father, sister, and brothers, and their children were all killed. Israel says it's warning Palestinians where to go to avoid strikes.
We've been making, again, with everything we have at in our capabilities, every effort we can to facilitate the movement of civilians in the south in order to mitigate civilian casualties.
I want to bring in Martin Fletcher, former NBC News correspondent and bureau chief in Tel Aviv. Two of his family members were held hostage by Hamas. Thankfully, they were both released. Martin, I'm so glad you're here. We need help understanding this, right? Israeli forces are saying troops are pushing into the city of Han Yunis. This is already in the south. This is a city that people evacuated to from Gaza several weeks ago. Where are they going to go from here?
Well, that's the question. I mean, about 1 million Palestinians have come from the north of Gaza into the south. So, I mean, Gaza's tiny anyway, 25 miles from the northern tip to the southern tip. Now, almost all of the population of Gaza, well over 2 million people probably, are living now in an area that's half the size of Gaza. Half the size of that tiny area, so it must be horrific for the Palestinians. There is nowhere to go. I mean, there's a border with Egypt. Egypt is not opening the border, so Israel is saying go to the west where there are open fields, or go to the east where there are open fields, or go to the west where there is the beach. But there are no facilities for them. There isn't enough food. There isn't enough fuel. There isn't enough anything, let alone tents. And of course, now as winter is coming in, it's colder, it's rainy. There's mud on the floor, on the ground. There's the potential for waterborne diseases like cholera potentially spreading. So it's a horrific situation. But Israel says they've got to continue because they need to destroy Hamas, and they have no alternative. So Palestinian people are paying, the civilians are paying a horrific price for the fact that Hamas, the fighters, are in those towns. Well,
let's talk about other priorities on Israel's part. We know that officials there met with the families of remaining hostages. One family member described the whole situation as chaotic. Is the return of hostages still a priority for Israel?
Well, it's certainly a priority for the hostage families. It's a great priority for the people of Israel, who are demonstrating constantly for the return of the hostages. And of course, the question is, I guess the most immediate question is it a priority for the Israeli government and the Israeli army? And I think it's pretty clear that now the negotiations are broken down with Hamas in Qatar, that the Israeli government and the army are prosecuting the war. And one has to use the word regardless at the moment of what the impact will be on the hostages. I think there's about another 130 Israeli hostages remaining inside those tunnels underneath Gaza, prisoners of Hamas. So the need for the army to win the war is, at this moment anyway, more important to the government and the army than saving the lives of the hostages. They wouldn't admit that. They wouldn't say that. They would say that their priority is equally strong to win the war and to save the hostages. But without negotiations, with the Israeli army advancing on all sides of Gaza, in particular towards the town of Khan Yunis, where they believe the leadership of Hamas is, that's endangering the lives of the hostages. And of course, when the hostages' families met Prime Minister Netanyahu and the war cabinet, as you just said, it was a chaotic meeting. There was shouting, yelling. Prime Minister Netanyahu's message to the hostage families was, the quote I think is, he said, "There's no possibility right now to bring everyone home." Of course, that's the last thing the hostage families want to hear, but it's a reality with the army pressing ahead. It's attack on the town of Khan Yunis in order to fight Hamas.